In today's video, we continue our journey through the Chilean metal underground. This is part 3 of my series where I explore bands recommended by viewers from parts 1 and 2. Chile has a very strong and passionate metal scene, and once again, we have a mix of heavy metal, speed metal, thrash, death metal, even blackened thrash. Before we begin, I want you to leave your recommendations in the comments. Give me more bands. What Chilean metal bands should I check out next? There are some old school sounds on the list, some very technical musicianship, and some extreme aggression. So let's get started. First on the list is Acero Letal and their 2024 EP, Legiones, formed in 2007 in Valparaíso. Acero Letal has become one of the cornerstones of the modern Chilean underground heavy metal scene. The sound is a blend of classic heavy metal and speed metal, heavily inspired by the new wave of British heavy metal and classic Spanish heavy metal bands like Barón Rojo. They also channel early North American speed metal energy. Legiones was released on February 18th, 2024. It's about 25 minutes, 49 seconds, and has 8 tracks. It was produced, mixed, and mastered by JAG or JAG at Rebelión Satanica Studio. Production is very raw, very 80s inspired. Bass guitar is very prominent in the mix. That gives the song a strong rhythmic backbone. Lyrics are in Spanish, and they focus on resistance, brotherhood, cosmic power, and South American identity. Musically, they reminded me a lot of early Paul Di'Anno era Iron Maiden. Riffs are fast, energetic, melodic. Solos are sharp and classic heavy metal in style. It was a very cool EP. It feels authentic and honest. It does not try to modernize the sound too much. Instead, it embraces old school aesthetic and does it very well. Next up is Undercroft with their 2024 album Battle of Demons. Undercroft is a legendary Chilean death metal band formed in 1991 in Santiago. They are considered pioneers of South American extreme metal. In the early years, they released important demos like To the Final Battle in 1993 and albums such as Twisted Souls and Bonebreaker. They even toured with major acts like Creator and Morbid Angel. Battle of Demons is the 8th studio album released in early 2024. It features 10 re-recorded tracks from their early demos. Songs were updated with modern production, giving them a heavier and more polished sound. To me, the album sounded like modern death metal. One band that came to mind was Cattle Decapitation because of the polished production and technical precision. Musicianship is top-notch. Guitar riffs are technical, often use tremolo picking. Drumming includes blast beats, and vocals are deep and guttural. They also incorporate melody without losing aggression. Songs include many changes in tempo and structure, which keep things interesting. Overall, powerful and very professional death metal release. At number 3, we have Iron Spell and their 2025 album, From the Grave. Iron Spell was formed in 2013 in Santiago by drummer Felipe Caraval, also known as Steel Hammer. They're part of what many call the new wave of Chilean heavy metal. Their sound is strongly influenced by 1980s heavy metal and horror-themed storytelling. From the Grave was released on July 25th, 2025 through Dying Victims Productions. Runs about 41 minutes. Album was produced in Germany, resulting in a high-quality but still raw sound. It keeps that early 80s charm. Themes focus on horror films, cultism, mythology. In many ways, it feels like a soundtrack to an 80s horror movie. Music is fast, heavy, and melodic. There's also a lot of neoclassical guitar shredding. Vocals are big and dramatic, very much in the style of classic 80s heavy metal. At times, some of the riffs remind me of early Iron Maiden, which is always a positive for me. I had a small criticism. It would be that the production is slightly rough in some spots, but that also helps them capture that authentic 80s sound. Overall, a very enjoyable heavy metal album. Next is Letalis and their 2025 album, Verdadero Poder. Letalis is a newer band formed in 2021 in Santiago. They play speed and heavy metal with lyrics in Spanish. The band led by frontwoman Jacqueline "Jack-Killing" Jara, whose vocals are powerful and commanding. Verdadero Poder, released on November 19, 2025, is their second studio album. recorded and produced at Sonido Origen Studios and Alhue Music Studios. Sounds is raw and unpolished, intentionally avoiding modern production trends. Music is fast and aggressive, riffs are sharp and energetic, drumming is tight and driving. Vocals really stand out because of their strength and clarity. Letalis also gained attention after winning the Chilean national final of the Blackened Metal Battle in 2026. That shows they are becoming an important force in the Chilean scene. The album feels very honest and underground, captures the spirit of classic speed metal while still sounding fresh and energetic. At number 5, we have Tormento and their 2019 debut full-length album, Imponiendo la Fe. Formed in 2006 in Melipilla, Tormento has been active for nearly 20 years. They're known for traditional heavy and speed metal influenced by bands like Judas Priest, Saxon, and Metal Lucifer. Imponiendo la Fe was recorded between July and October 2018 and released in 2019 via RIP Records. Production is very clean. All instruments are clearly heard in the mix. This was one of my favorites. The album opens with an instrumental that has a doom metal feel, but after that it moves into a fast, old-school speed metal. Songs are mostly straightforward. They don't try to reinvent the genre. They simply do classic heavy metal very well. There's an 8-minute epic called Desata a Satan, and that stands out. Not every song is extremely fast. Some tracks are more mid-paced, which adds variety. Lyrics are in Spanish and touch on themes like metal culture and strong ideological ideas. Overall, a very solid traditional heavy metal album. Next is Sikario with their 2013 debut, Noocracy. Formed in 2005 in Santiago, Sikario blends traditional death metal with metalcore influences. Noocracy was released on May 10, 2013 under Acero Records and contains 12 tracks in just over 30 minutes. The album is intense. Production is very clean and crisp. Riffs are heavy and precise. Drumming is aggressive and fast. Vocals are deep and guttural but still understandable, and songs are sung in English. I thought they stood out because of their polished sound. Many death metal bands go for very raw production, but Sikario keeps everything clear and powerful. They combine technical death metal with metalcore elements, which makes their sound unique. They reminded me of the band Cataclysm because of the tight musicianship and modern production style. Overall, a very strong and aggressive debut album. At number 7, we have Mental Devastation and their 2025 album, The Delusional Mystery of the Self, Part 2. Formed in 2009 in Villa Alemana, this band focuses on technical thrash inspired by late 80s Bay Area thrash bands like Slayer and Forbidden. The album is the second half of a 2-part concept album exploring human psychology and the nature of the self. Lyrics deal with ego death, disassociation, and mental distress. Musically, another one of my favorites. The fretless bass really stands out and gives the album a unique sound. Riffs are technical and razor sharp. Rhythms are complex and progressive. Vocals are on the cleaner side compared to extreme metal, and they reminded me a bit of the band Forbidden, and the band blends classic thrash with progressive and technical elements very effectively. If you like technical thrash with depth and strong musicianship, this is definitely worth checking out. Finally, we have Necromantic Forces and their 2024 album, Under a Threshold of Consciousness. Necromantic Forces was active from 2014 until early 2026. This album, released on August 23, 2024 through No Mercy Rex, is one of their final major works before the split. The album runs about 36 minutes and includes 9 tracks of blackened thrash metal. Themes focus on necromancy, Satanism, and misanthropy. I like the album. It's aggressive and fast, but it's just not constant speed. There are moments when it slows down. They create more atmospheric sections. Production is clean compared to many black metal albums. Guitars and bass are clearly heard, and the vocals are mixed very well. This was a strong final statement from the band that contributed to the Chilean underground scene, and I think they just released their final EP a couple weeks ago, but I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I discovered that while doing my research. But anyway, That's all. If you enjoyed this episode of Discovering Metal Bands from Other Countries, Chile, Part 3, check out the full playlist with all the episodes in the series. It will appear on the screen right now. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy rock and metal reviews. Leave your recommendations for more Chilean metal bands in the comments. I appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next video.